Well, we first told you about this earlier in the week. Alarming new data says students' test scores in subjects like reading and math are still declining years after the pandemic.
Yeah, it's often referred to as the nation's report card, and it finds average scores in reading declined for both 4th and 8th graders compared to 2022. And then in math, there was no significant change for 8th grade, and there was actually some improvement in 4th grade scores. But still, students are below pre-pandemic levels in math and in reading. Thankfully, we have Dr. Barry Norman here to join us. She's a certified educational planner and the co-founder and head counselor of Expert Admissions. Dr. Norman, thank you so much for being with us. When we talk sort of about the decline, frankly, that we're seeing, why are we still seeing such low numbers post the pandemic?
So the experts say it's chronic absenteeism and also screen time that has something to do with this.
I was wondering about that. So what is happening? Kids aren't showing up in school, and then what are they? They're spending too much time on screens away from the classroom?
So the real story here was amongst the lowest performers. It was the lowest performers where we saw this real decline. And we're also seeing in that group chronic absenteeism. So they're not coming to school. We can do everything right in the classroom. If we can't get kids into the classroom, it doesn't really matter. And then we have screen time, which is a huge issue, as all parents know.
And when we talk about the screen time specifically, is it that they're not engaging with their peers in person? Is it they're not working to do the things like writing cursive and using a pen and paper like we grew up having to do? What is it specifically that is so dangerous about those screens?
Well, it's really that they need to be reading, right? We know that you get so much from actual reading of books, and they're not doing that. So this has to do with decoding. It has to do with inference. It has to do with creativity. And it has to do with not just being on a screen.
Yeah, just watching things and getting that popcorn brain. What can be done to reverse these rates of absenteeism? How do we get these kids into class? You like to say we can teach them, but we need to reach them.
Exactly. So I think it's a community effort, right? Like everything is. When we work together, we can do more. So it's parents being in communication with teachers. It's bringing social workers in. It's helping students and families and communities feel safe at school and see the value in going.
What do you say to parents who are hearing this, watching this, and who are worried? They're saying, look, I may not know what I don't know. I may not have all the resources or the know-how here at home, but I also don't know how to sort of be vigilant about what's happening at school. What would you tell them to sort of assuage their anxiety?
It's all about communication. No matter what, you can reach out to your student's teacher, right? You can always open those lines of communication, find out what's going on, find out the struggles, try to address them as best you can with whatever resources you have or don't have, even if it's just being supportive, but address them before they become major issues.
Is this level of absenteeism something new that we're seeing that we didn't see in years past, with the kids just not coming to school in general?
So this got really bad in the pandemic. It spiked, and then it stayed elevated, and that's the real concern. It hasn't come back to where we want it to.
If there was one piece of advice you could give to any educator, any parent, anyone who has a child whom they love, what would you tell them?
I really think it's about focusing on the students. We all need to work together to give every student what they need in and out of the classroom.
Great. Dr. Barry Norman, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.